Okay, so it is the next day. Time has passed.
Yes, it has.
We've slept a little bit, not a whole lot last night, but so Krystal has finished her lesson plan, and I'm just going to show you what this looks like. And what she did is she just put Post-its in each of the 4 panes here, so you can see that. And then her language objective is just written across the top. And remember, the language objective is just the form. What does it sound like when the kids do it? Krystal's just written that right across the top. What we were just chatting about was the opportunity when you plan like this with Post-its that Krystal can take these just right out of these 4 squares and just put those Post-its right into her benchmark book. So Krystal, you can just put that on the page of the lesson, and now you've really done your tabbing and your planning together. And that took us maybe 20 minutes. I mean, really a lot of that was just the conversation about how to use the text, right? So it's really just thinking ahead and thinking about what the deliverable is. I think that's probably most important. And then just thinking about what the interaction is going to be. So tell me just very quickly what you're going to do for input and modeling that first 5 minutes of the lesson.
So the first 5 minutes I'll be reading the text, and then I'll kind of model what I want to see by using one of the pictures in their text at the bottom. And then moving on to structured guided practice, the frame won't be new since I've already introduced it. So that's what I'm trying to do in the input and model.
Perfect. And you know what I love that you did, and this seems so like, I speak English, why do I have to write this down? But you've actually written down Hopeville should use solar energy because I can't tell you how many times I get up in front of the kids and then I go, so like, okay, so it could be like Hopeville, okay, so it's like, it's going to use because, right? So even though that's not super, complex language, you really can't think of examples on the fly as easily as you think you would be able to. So I love that you actually wrote out the sentence that you're going to use. And till the day that I stop teaching ELD, I will write out the sentence I'm going to use, even if it's very, like, at the beginning of the year with my ones, that sentence can be super short. I still write it out, right? Because you're busy thinking about so many things. I love that you wrote that out. So nicely done, Krystal. I would have done it that way myself. So let's look at structured guided practice. So this is the time, another 5 minutes. I noticed that you put picture 2 here. What picture are you going to show them?
I'm going to show them picture 2, which is this one here. And it's kind of just showing how a solar plant can be expensive, and it's very different from the other one. So they're deferring opinions, but you're still kind of describing your argument. And once again, I've written it out, and it'll also lead me to examples 3 and 4.
Got it.
Pictures 3 and 4, because they're all part of one editorial page. So these 2 go together.
Right. And again, you've written out that sentence.
Yes.
And this is the little reader that comes with benchmark, right? This is a student text.
This is the ELD text.
Okay. I used that in one of our lessons in this video series. We used that text, and I really I like this resource a lot. So I like that book. It's quite helpful. So let's talk about student interaction. That's 15 minutes. That's bulk of your time, right? Because we really want the kids, half that 30 minutes, we want them to be interacting. So tell me what that's going to look like.
Natural gas is the second editorial page, which is they're going to be doing it all orally, but I have my base of what I want them to say based on the text. But we're going to have them lining up and kind of rotating through just so they're talking to different people and they're getting comfortable with the sentence frame, so that when we go into our assessment or our CFU that's written, they'll already have that practice mentally and they'll be ready, and then at that point it's just transference.
Yeah, and I love that lines of communication. I love that. It's just so it's like the bread and butter of interaction for sure. It's just such a the kids get trained and you can use it.
We found
seriously.
it on the ELD network.
Did you?
Yes,
You could really use it every day. So I saw an expert do that once. this gal, right? So talk about your checks for understanding. So there are really two here, right? So checking to make sure that they get it, and then checking to make sure that they're engaged, and then checking to make sure that they actually have that closure. Did they get the language that we wanted them to get? So I see that you've written out your frame with those blanks in there. So that's the frame you're going to give them, and then they're going to write that out.
And this is also based on a different editorial page because there's 3 different ones.
Got it.
So in each one, it's them using the content that's given and then transferring it over. Mm-hmm. And this one's 2 opinions.
Got it.
So this is their opinion, not so much basing it on the text, but finally taking a stand. I think that is the right choice because...
I love that. Yeah, so it's a little more complex. And it also provides you kind of a pre-assessment for tomorrow to see if they can do an opinion. I also like that you said here, this is oral, this is written. And what I like about this written is that it's going to, they're going to have to write the whole thing out. Yes. Because a lot of times with frames, it ends up being fill in the blank, which kind of reminds me of like high school language, where we didn't really learn language, right? Because we just had to fill in like one word, and that word was usually a noun. So I love that you're going to have them write out that whole unit. In this case, it's going to be a sentence. For upper grade kids, it might be a paragraph, right? It might be longer. So, alrighty. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your lesson. As we work through the student interaction, I may co-teach with you for parts of that, just depending on how that goes and how that works out. It's always fun to have 2 voices, but maybe not. So we'll just see. So if I jump in, like if I'm suddenly hovering over you, again, it's the helpful hover. So, alrighty. Thanks, Krystal. I look forward to seeing it.
Awesome.